Hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation about computer science careers and what you can do to get there. So I'm going to be going in and out of my screen, so I hope this works. Let's see. All right, so today I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about what you can do to learn more about computer science, why it's such a hot field to get into, and then kind of some basics about cybersecurity and game design, because that's mostly what I specialize in. So, hello, my name is Mr. Philip Peavy. I'm a computer science teacher here in Gwinnett County at Paul Duke STEM High School, and my specialties are game design and cybersecurity. And I kind of lead a bunch of teachers across the district in those areas. My email, if you can see it in the bottom, is philip.peavy@gcpsk12.org if you need to reach out to me. Also, I do have a teacher Instagram. It is Mr. Peavy CS. Feel free to follow if you would like to. It's also an easy way to get in touch with me too, as well. And if you haven't noticed, I do like Atlanta United. That's my little nephew. Um, and just a different than like showing my professional picture. So, a little bit about me. I actually did not start in the technology industry. I went to University of Georgia, Go Dogs, and graduated with middle grades education. I got into technology by doing my master's program at Boise State Online, which really got me into like making websites and doing web development. I also did some app development in there as well and learned how to make apps. And so they kind of got me into like doing it, and I got into teaching computer science, and I've never honestly looked back. I love teaching it. Um, so I really got into the technology industry. I didn't really have a computer science class in high school or middle school either. So a lot of students nowadays, like you, have a really good opportunity to really learn a lot and honestly go very far. So why get a job in computer science? That is like quite possibly one of the biggest things I think a lot of people wonder. And honestly, the biggest thing I would say is it's a growing industry. Every job's gonna require technology at some point. And so if you learn computer science, learn programming, learn different things about it, you can have a leg up on everybody else. It also has a great pay. So you could not have a degree in computer science, and if you know the skills in the state of Georgia, you can start and be making about $60,000 starting. Now, if you get a degree, just add more onto that. If you get more degrees, add more onto that. So that's just a starting salary. If you have more certifications, more experience, and honestly can just show more skills, you can make a lot more. I'm talking about like six figures, and that could be like about the age of 20 to 22. It's not a typical job either. So if you like to have flexible hours, flexible places, so some jobs you can work from home, you can work in the office, or you can do whichever one works best for you. You can have a job where you're working with people literally all across the world, across the country. The hours can be flexible too. So it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a lot of projects, you can honestly make your own hours. If you like to work at night, you work at night. If you don't like waking up at like 6 a.m. in the morning, you don't have to do that. So there is a lot of flexibility with that. Computer science can really be broken up into about four different areas. You first have the business side, which is information technology. This is where you're more working with the business, making sure to fix how to fix problems, making sure the internet's working, fixing computer issues, and also kind of like coming up with ways that technology can be used better at the workplace. So that's information technology. The median salary once you get into it for a few years is about $86,000. So it's a pretty good job, a really good one actually. Now that's going to be your typical 9 to 5 job, but it does have perks where you can really grow into leadership and really get a lot more money as well. Now, software kind of is like your programming side, so learning Java, learning Python. Those are going to be around $75,000. You can be a job as an engineer, architect, a programmer. Now that one has an asterisk because it really depends on what you're doing. if you're kind of like an entry level, just like working in programming, you're not going to be making as much as if you become like a lead programmer, a lead developer. And then you can be making into like $100,000. And if you like start working where you get bigger and bigger, like it just goes up. Now that's also one where you have to have a lot of skills. So you have to have your programming skills done and needed for that area. Now the security area is where I'm more suited for in teaching. That one you're gonna make about $98,000 as a median salary. That one's a lot higher than others, and the reason why I tell people is because if you own a business, are you gonna want somebody who programs or someone who keeps your information safe? A lot of businesses want to keep their information safe. You hear every day about data, like where people get hacked, things like that. So that's why that one's a little bit higher. And the last little area is kind of like creative. This is where people are kind of more into like designing apps, designing programs, designing games. Now you're not going to be paid as much, but it's really much more of a fun job where you get to have a lot of cool things you're working with. Um, Now that's also one where if you do go up the steps, you can be making a lot more. And it's also kind of more freelance where you say, hey, you want to like work on your own game, jump in, help somebody else, you could be doing that. Now, I'm gonna get this is where you can have more time, honestly, to look into more of those jobs and like what kind of suits you. So if you go to our virtual job class or virtual job shadow on eClass, you can actually go there. Right here, I have it highlighted in that picture. It says virtual job shadow LTI. And honestly, if you go there, like there's so many jobs, but like you can kind of like take assessments to see what's good for you. But you also can kind of go and look into more technology jobs. There are so many out there. And it kind of tells you like, hey, here's what you need for education, here's what you need for certifications, and here's how you can get the job. So I highly recommend looking at that. If you need more questions, feel free to reach out to me or a teacher, and we can get you there. But here's what I like to say: what is cybersecurity? So you probably learned more about programming and coding, the hour of code around the schools. Um, so you probably learn a little bit like, oh, that's what they kind of do here and there. But what exactly is cybersecurity? You hear that and you immediately think hacking, which yes, it kind of is. But biggest thing is setting up security for businesses, for people. Is testing the security, which is it's also called pen testing. So if you hear somebody say a pen tester, that's what they're doing. They're testing the security of a place or of a website or of a program. Um, it's looking for vulnerabilities. It's monitoring a network. It's like where you have a security breach and you have to figure out what happened and like log it and like figure out what went through. So yes, you're learning first you learn all the security basics, and then after that you learn how people hacked into it and how to beef up that security. So in a nutshell, yes, you're learning how to hack. I'm gonna teach you a couple things in a second too. A basic hack and kind of what people can do to set up to make sure you don't do that. So a lot of it you learn about the ins and outs of security. You learn like how is a router, how can you fix a router? How can you make sure that your home system is set up? How can you make sure that other people can't get into it? So what does it kind of look like? So here's some basic what you'll kind of be looking into and like what it kind of looks like. So a lot of it is like looking at computer screens. So if you don't have those blue light glasses that you wear, you probably want to get some of those. Um, so honestly, a lot of it is like looking through. You had to learn how to do Linux. So learning the commands for Linux, learning some PowerShell. On the left, we have Wireshark. So like when you learn how to sniff out packets, like learning how to collect packets, and like how to look through packets, what's being sent, what's being received, what is in that packet. Learning about encryption and decryption. So learning different ciphers, learning how to hack a cipher. So that's part of kind of what you would see. It really just, and honestly, there's a lot of areas. So like some people are just more like they work on a single part of security, and so like they don't like they'll just do that for a while and then they'll rotate. Other people are doing more of a hacking security, which isn't as accurate as what a lot of people do. A lot of people do a lot more surrounding a certain area, and there's a different areas. Like there's like physical security, there is network security, there is perimeter security. It's like setting up firewalls, making sure the firewall works, making sure if something doesn't work, how to fix it. So there's a lot of areas to it. Um, so what are some things you could do now? Well, before I do that, I want to show y'all a little thing. So like, I mean, for instance, in a lot. Okay, we're back. And so another thing too, for instance, is learning how to teach people like policies. So like, you probably always like, you typically would probably save like your email and password. Don't do that. Also tell people not to do that because I mean, honestly, um, if someone has this, obviously you can click log in. But the better thing to do, honestly, if you know it, is really learning. Once you learn some HTML, is how to get into the people's saved passwords. So like right here, if this person has their password saved, I could take like 2 seconds, and honestly, right there, congratulations, I can see what you saved your password as. So that's some things. Some basic hacks like learning how to go through the HTML. So if you've actually done some HTML, CSS web design, you can kind of go through this and actually be able to read through and actually be able to fix certain things. So it's kind of like a little fun little thing to learn, honestly. And you don't have to know much about it. If you use the basics of certain things like that, you can do a lot. So going back here, so I did teach you a little fun hack. But pretty much like what can you do? Take classes. So Gwinnett County has cybersecurity classes. I teach both of them. There's intro and advanced. You really have to be taking IDT, the Intro to Digital Technology course. So if you take that like your freshman or sophomore year, it would help you out. But if you need to, like, I mean, talk with your counselor, talk with your computer science teacher, and see how you can maybe get it. Not every school has it right now, so if you do want to take it and your school doesn't have it, you can check out. There's the Gwinnett Online Campus. So there's that. Other things you can do is clubs. Um, Ask your school to start a cybersecurity club. There's Cyber Patriot, which I host at my school. That's all about learning about security. You can compete against kids across the state and the nation. And like you like go, they give you like a computer system, and you pretty much have to set up the security. So like take away users. They say, oh, there's a file in here that needs to be deleted. You need to set up where they can't. You have to have password requirements. You need to set up how to do X, Y, Z. Set up the firewall. So there's a bunch of things like that that you can do. If you want to learn more about hacking, there's CyberStart America. It's a free thing. Look it up, Google CyberStart America, and you can create your own account and literally do it by yourself. They have scholarships and things like that as well, so it's a really cool thing to get into. Um, so yeah, I mean, and here's what I'll tell you is so if your school is like looking to start it and you're like, hey, I want to do this, you find a computer science teacher more than likely. And if they don't know how to do it, tell them to email me. You can email me and I can talk to that teacher. So I can like teach you how to get set up to get this started at your school. There's some students across the district who did that and now work for Cisco in Lawrenceville, which is like the biggest networking like company in the world. And so like they got internships with them, and so like it's a really cool thing to do. There's a lot of computer science places around Gwinnett in the Atlanta area that you can get internships, get some really good ins and outs with them. The other thing, really quick, I want to talk about is game design. So it's the fun way of having programming. I teach the class. It doesn't really feel like a class. It feels more like a fun time that we get to spend like an hour and a half together every 2 days. And so really a lot of this like is free. So there's a software called Unity. And if you can't get that, there's Scratch, but it's not the same. But Unity is like where you can literally make real games. Here's the key thing is that you have to have a computer that can hold like the software because it's big and like the projects become big. Um, Here is what it looks like. I hope you can see that. Um, but yeah, so like this is what it looks like, and you can play. Like here's like a game that we made in my class. If it goes, and so like you can see like the game is like counting up as I roll around and get everything. And so, yeah, it's like we actually made this in class. It's a basic game, honestly. It took us like maybe a week in class, but if you spent your own time, like it wouldn't take you that long. And like you had to learn how to code, and but like a lot of times they give you the code, but then you can like learn like how to change things. Like right here, if I wanted to win, I can make it like if I hit 5 of these, I can click change that 13 to 5, and then like if I hit 5 of them, like it tells me congratulations, you win. So it can make the game go a little bit faster. So I hope you saw that. If you didn't, I will be trimming that part out. But yeah, so um, but here's the thing I'll tell you, like if you want to learn game design, like you don't have to be in a class to do that. Um, so oh, fun. But like right here, you will see that you can go to your local library and be able to get a subscription to LinkedIn Learning. And it has a bunch of videos that you can just simply learn about Unity and learn about game design. Also, you can ask your school counselor how to take the class. So if you really want to take it and you have like the requirements, they can maybe get you in. And last but not least, pretty much want to wrap it up. So again, what I tell you is, hey, try it. Like, what's the worst thing that happens if you try it and you don't like it? Um, I have students who like tell me like I don't know anything about cybersecurity. I don't know anything about game design. I don't know anything about how to computer science, but they try it and they're like, oh, this is really fun. I'm like, yeah, and you can learn more about this. So also ask around for help. Like this is an industry where people want to help and want to get more people into it. So you can ask a teacher, you ask me, you can have your teacher contact me as well if you have questions or wanted to do it. And there's my email right there. Make sure you spell my first name with one L. Um, and honestly, just go on and be the next creator. Because if you look at any success story about someone in the area of computer science, they usually started when they're in high school and they usually learn by themselves. But y'all have people who can actually teach you, and you have so many resources that you can go out and literally change the world. So I hope you have a great day. Feel free to contact me, honestly, if you really do have any questions. I want to help. So, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.